Station, facility arrivals and departures. Previously unknown ship now approaching Moon 03, crew 3 adults.
Well, Moon 03 sort of had its genesis right here at Patv. I was involved in a Hawkeye sports talk show with a friend of mine, and that sort of ended because he had some other commitments. But all the time I was here working, I was really surprised at the level of technology that was available for public use down at Patv. And what I always kind of jokingly said is that, it's a small stage, it's a small studio, but you really could, if you were careful, do a movie like Star Wars. Because the compositing software and all these, you can get your elements here in the green screen room, and that compositing software is so amazing nowadays that you really could, if you were careful and you lit it correctly. And so I thought, well, why not?
Information, marine biology.
Good.
There's certain characters and types of characters that are sort of repeated. And the other thing I wanted to do with it was have a hero that was sort of a flawed hero. So it's also a response to sort of these Columbo. I think is a great show, and it shows this guy he's a cop, but he doesn't carry a gun. He doesn't, he's not into it for busting heads or anything like that. It's really just sort of a working man's version of sort of crime solving. And so I wanted to sort of incorporate those elements too. And so naturally, I just sort of would be like, what would this guy say? Usually the answer was right there. But it took a long time. It took 6 months, and I'm not a huge writer. Then there was this other part of it is just I love this community down at Patv, and so the people that hang out here are very, let's shall we say, interesting, and they all have a lot of, they all have something to give. It's like a lot of them, they do come across on camera, whether or not it's in the way they intended to or not, but they are striking individuals. It's been a blast. It's been a blast. Josh is a guy who is co-producing it with me, and he is doing a ton of heavy lifting in the visual effects department.
Hi, I'm Josh Goding. I'm one of the producers of Moon 03. First started on the project middle of 2010, I believe it was. We met Al Stroh. He was a producer here at Patv who was doing another show called Roll On Iowa, a Hawkeye sports show that had kind of a strange, edgy sci-fi theme, kind of a Doctor Who influence, and that was interesting to see. And later on, Al came back sort of pitching this idea of a sci-fi miniseries for Patv.
I kind of came up with this planet and this sort of aqua base that's out there floating, and it just sort of, the questions just kind of came and answered themselves as I was writing it. So why can't they leave? Well, there's a huge storm out. Okay, well, why couldn't they leave by the water? Well, there's giant monsters all the time, And so the story actually wrote itself. I knew the characters that I wanted to have in there, and so just by putting those characters in there, the situations just sort of developed. I wanted to sort of give everybody an opportunity that's down at Patv to sort of contribute to it in their own way. I wanted it to be a very democratic film in that, I've invited a lot of people to bring whatever they like to do in their own art. For instance, there's a guy named Corbin Booth who is a local, and he was into Hollywood makeup and worked in Hollywood for a little while. And I saw him on one of the public access channels here in Iowa City giving some kind of zombie talk or something like that. And I was like, that seems like a guy who would be interested in helping out. And so reached out to him, and he was. And he's been a huge asset to the team. He's brought a lot of cool stuff. And so it's been like that with everybody.
And when I first agreed to get started with Moon 03, I came on agreeing to do visual effects. And since then, my role has expanded to visual effects, some videography, one of the main editor, along with Al, and then we also do directing and producing and coming up with money, if any, for the production and model building. So we spent, I think it was most of the winter 2010 building the Aquabase model out of a process called kit bashing, which means you take the parts of other models, other model kits, you break them up and you use them in a different way that was not intended by the model maker, person that put it in the box. And so basically he had all these pieces of Star Wars spaceships and space stations from various genres that were not instantly recognizable to me. And our colleague Bill Albert also donated a bunch of model kits, and so we started cutting them up and gluing the pieces of this model together. And by the beginning of 2011, we started shooting the model and using it as a miniature for the exterior shots and all the setting of the Aquabase.
And then just briefly, like I kind of touched on my character. I play a guy named Kelly.
Great! Where is he? Okay, what do you say?
Good. Some of the special effects techniques that we've been using have included in-camera effects, where you just try to use optical trickery to create an effect. But more commonly, we've been using green screen, of course. I'm sitting in the green screen studio now, and over the past couple of years, we've gotten really good, I like to think, at using the green screen studio and setting it up to get a pretty good key. Many of the settings for the scenes of Moon 03 don't exist as real sets because of financial considerations and what have you. So we're creating a lot of the sets and backgrounds completely from out of nothing. What we are proceeding from is kind of an art design that has the ethic of a 1960s or 1970s science fiction movie, kind of this bright, colorful idea of an idealized future where everything's candy-colored and lovely. And so that's the world of Moon 03.
He's an amazing artist. He's an amazing digital artist, and he's been able to sort of look for Moon 03. Originally, it's like I wanted a lot of wood paneling, and I wanted it to look very 70s, sort of like the 70s idea of the future. And we've really been able to do that. It's really been able to come across, and that's been one of the things that I think has been the most delightful from my perspective, is that I've been able to sort of, with a lot of help from these other folks, people like Josh and Corbin, and the actors, of course, is sort of build this reality. You know, it's kind of build this real place out of nothing, and it comes across. I think it's really coming across, and so we're having a lot of fun with it. Just appreciate everybody's support, and look us up on YouTubes and internets and Facebooks and all that kind of stuff. Just put in Moon 03 and you should get some hits. A lot of it's under Josh's banner, which is Fourth Eye Media on YouTube. So that's kind of the production company name. So, but we're just having a great time, and I'm just really thankful that we have a community resource like Patv that allows me to express myself and allows me to sort of create these sort of art machines that I can kind of set up a machine, and then everybody else can kind of get involved and jump in and do whatever else they want to do. So, the Deadwood has just been great. And the people that work there have been great. They were magnificent, very helpful. So I just like because that's kind of what this is about a little bit that day. Anyway, I just wanted to take a little extra minute to say extra thank you to that. When we were at the Deadwood, you know, we brought in Avasu, who's a person who works down, does a lot of art at Patv, and she's been a local artist for years and years. I remember her from back in the 90s.
My name is Avasu Kanway. First name is 2 words, A-V-A space S-U, 2 words.
Fourth book is my jurisdiction. Ready?
Fourth book
Okay,
is
wait,
my...
ready? Action.
Fourth book is my jurisdiction. We are in Iowa City. Right now we are in Deadwood Tavern. I mean, it's not printed by professors or professionals. It's printed by students. I am very proud to have been a participant in the Moon 03 shooting today.
New day, new fate. What is your fate, Kelly?
Moon 03 is a sci-fi that Patv Iowa City is trying to put on. My character was the person standing behind the bar. Is in charge of sports book. There are 3 parts. There's front bar, back bar, sports book.
Very, very good.
And my jurisdiction is sports book. Sports book takes bets. There are leviathans, monsters, water monsters that fight all the time. And we bet on these monsters, see who wins. If your monster wins, you win big money. Yep.
Okay, obviously you're done. Obviously you have a good day. We will be down at the thing at 5. No problem. Thank you so much for asking us.
Good work on us too.
Well, it's been an amazing time, and it's been really personally gratifying to work on it, both as just a video hobbyist. It feels like art when we do it, and it's a lot of fun.
The first thing you wash them with dish soap, and then this is gonna be regular water where you rinse it, and then sanitizer in the last.
Sanitize. I see. Sanitizer. So you must sanitize before you
Oh yeah.
put them up to dry.